From LALATE headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons LALATE.
It's a big afternoon of Afternoons LALATE with incredible news about your stocks, your bonds, your recessionary worries, the latest details on inflation, and of course, your fourth stimulus check update of 2022. In today's recording, we'll go over that fourth stimulus check that is landing in every U.S. state and why it's so important to get it in view of a breaking news report that came out this May 21st, 2022. The new report says that consumer savings has dropped dramatically 15% year to date. How low is it? I'll have the latest details in today's recording, but here's a teaser. The consumer savings that millions of Americans have on average is less than the fourth stimulus check that is in every U.S. state that I have available for you. Yes, I have big checks. Stay at the very end. Those incredible sums of money are coming up. My focus is for you to get these incredible checks because another report that came out on Friday, detailed last night on Evenings LA and will be featured tonight as well, is that 81% of Americans now believe that the U.S. economy is heading into recession. And they don't think it's next year, they think it's this year. I'll go over the latest details on that front in today's recording. Step 1, subscribe. Step 2, become a member. Step 3, get that newsletter Monday through Friday. In that newsletter, we go right in and give you those applications to apply to get those fourth stimulus checks. And yes, those fourth stimulus checks are now actually more than consumer savings in Americans' average bank accounts. I'll have the latest details on why these fourth stimulus checks are so big and how you get them. Then we'll be looking at that new report that came out on Friday, where 81% of Americans actually now understand that a recession's coming. I've been reporting about a recession coming since February. I was the only one even talking about recession in February. Now 81% of Americans think it's coming sooner than I've been even reporting. Why has situations changed so dramatically? What does this mean for your SS300? What does this mean for student loan debt forgiveness? What does this mean for Build Back Better Act? What does this also mean for sixth stimulus? And what does it mean for the big money at issue that millions of Americans need? From the shores of Santa Monica, California, we'll be going over all these incredible sums of money, all the economic news, and how for you to get checks today. Not 5 weeks from now, not 5 months from now. It's Afternoons, and it starts right now. And good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful day. It is a beautiful day here this weekend for May 22nd, 2022 for the shores of Santa Monica, California. You're watching a brand new recording, and I'm excited you're here. This is breaking news today as a fourth stimulus check has landed in every U.S. bank account, and I'm going to show you how to get it. Step 1, subscribe to this channel. Step 2, become a member. The membership link is under the video. Step 3, get that newsletter, and then go right in and apply and get these incredible, huge checks. Over this broadcast, we have a lot to go over. It's a massive, brand new broadcast and has a lot of money at issue and a lot of major developing details. We'll go over the Build Back Better Act. We'll be going over those recessionary pressures, inflationary pressures, student loan debt forgiveness, sixth stimulus, my SS300 beneficiaries, $300 more on top of your existing benefits if you're on SSI, SSDI, veterans benefits, the mortgage rates, also what happened with the bond rates of the stock market, and what's going also on with sixth stimulus. There's a lot going on in this recording. The economic news, the predictions of where this economy is going, and also those big checks. I'm going to give you big checks later in this video. Stay to the very end. A lot to go over in breaking news today, and I hope you're having a beautiful day. The U.S. economy is heading into recession. The question is when. Back in February, I was the first, the only person in the United States in broadcast TV reporting that the U.S. economy is going into recession for 2 years. I had reported back in February was going to be entering a recession in 2023, January is what I reported at the time, for 2 years. The next person or group to follow thereafter behind me was Deutsche Bank, the German bank, that said the U.S. economy will be going into recession for 2 years starting next year. Thereafter, we had Morgan Stanley and also another investment banking firm saying potentially, but not actually saying definitively. What's happened since February all the way up to May, no less than a few months later? 81% of Americans polled in a new poll released yesterday say that the U.S. economy is going into recession. What a dramatic turnaround, where people did not even think about recession in February, and now they say we're definitely going into recession. Moreover, did you hear that? They say we're going into recession later this year, not what I've been predicting for next year. Why is this so important for you? This is so important because the sentiments, the spending habits, the savings habits, the consumer elements at issue have dramatically changed in less than 7 days on the channel. Why? Because Americans have woken up, and this is also what I had predicted. I said that while I was reporting back in February we're going to recession and you need stimulus checks right now, it takes a while for the average American to feel that reaction as well. And now it's snowballed. You can feel the recessionary pressures hitting the housing market, the auto sales, the consumer savings. Then you can also see it with the corporate earnings reports, and then the stock market. The stock market was the most pervasive one, whether you own stocks or don't, because it's a story that's going to cover from all the way from print media to local news. And the stock market has now ended its 8th consecutive week down. The worst performance of the stock market since the 1920s. Everyone's going to hear that news story, and everyone's going to say there's something wrong with the U.S. economy. And that is why everything has changed so dramatically. This is why it's so important to get a forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. I have for you a forced stimulus check, not one, but a lot of them, that have landed in every U.S. state. Let's repeat that. Number one. First, every state? Yes, every state. Number two, is this a forced stimulus check? It is. Is it just one check? No, it's actually a couple of checks. It's check A, B, and C, as I named them on this channel. Is this a check dependent on Build Back Better Act? It is not. Is it in the future? No, it's right today. And is it a lot of money? It is. It's not $600 of those measly checks we saw in the last 2 years. This is astronomical checks. In fact, one of those three checks, one of those multiple checks that are in every U.S. state for forced stimulus is more than the average savings in U.S. bank accounts today. A new report released minutes ago says that U.S. consumer savings has dropped 15% year to date. The consumer savings of the average American has dropped from 70,000 plus to 66,000 in less than a year. That's less than check B, a forced stimulus check in every U.S. state, which pays an average of $66,000 to $80,000 for the viewers of this channel. This is why you can't pass up these checks, because what I've been talking about since February is saving cash, hoarding cash, grabbing checks, and putting them away. Because the inflationary environment right today is not good, and now, as millions of Americans understand, there's a bad storm out to sea. The question is when it comes on land. Let's turn to the Build Back Better Act, which would give you additional checks, yes, additional checks, to these forced stimulus checks that have landed in every U.S. state. How much? $15,000 to $80,000 as they were written back in 2021. But let's go over the details that are huge, that are breaking news, that are very exciting about Build Back Better Act. First, the cast of characters dramatically changed since 2021. In the last 4 days, we have now learned that the cast of characters is reduced to two people. They are two people negotiating for the Build Back Better Act. Two Democrats and two senators, two longtime friends, and they are Joe Manchin and Chuck Schumer, the Democrat from West Virginia and the Democrat from New York. They are negotiating solely the Build Back Better Act. What's important to understand is that not part of the negotiations is Liz Warren. Not part is Bernie Sanders. Not part is AOC or Nancy Pelosi. It is just these two male individuals. This is huge. Also, at issue is their statements. First, they agree they're going to get it done. Number two, they want to get it done. Number three, they say they want to get it done because of the economic strain of this economy on you. And this is very exciting. Moreover, they both agree singularly, and it's absolutely true, that they both really adore one each other. They are two individuals, male, that have worked side by side for many, many years, and they know each other's personalities. They know each other's likes and dislikes. So they come to the table understanding each other very, very clearly, what they can do and what they cannot do. And this is huge. In the case of Joe Manchin and Chuck Schumer, I have never liked I have never liked a better two people to negotiate something than these two people. Why? They're very blunt. They are very blunt people. They are perhaps the two most blunt congressional leaders that I have ever recorded about. They will tell you exactly what you want and exactly what they don't want. So there won't be no wasting of time. And with that, the question is then when? They are hoping to get the vote in the entire legislation done in the Senate by Memorial Day weekend. Can they get it done by Memorial Day weekend? Because it's just a few days away. They would have to, one, get the solidifications of the negotiations done this week, potentially. Then they would have to have it written very quickly. Then they would have to get that vote ready in the Senate. Can they get it done? It's really tight, folks. It is really tight. Now, remember, that's the vote. That's not an actual check in your hand. But then the next part of the equation is why? Because they want these checks to land before the midterm elections. Who said that first? I did. Then they also say they need to get something to solidify reaction to this inflationary and recessionary worries of this economy. Who said that? I did as well. So the only part that I was wrong in my reporting was I thought that Joe Biden would be part of the negotiation. He is delegated exclusively to Joe Manchin and Chuck Schumer. I love it. I love it. So the last question is the it. The it. What will be in the Build Back Better Act? Now, certainly I do not know because we do not have any briefings from these people, and they're not going to give you briefings at all because these are closed door negotiations of what will survive in the Build Back Better Act from 2021 to 2022. But I'm going to tell you right now that my prediction, I'm usually right on this, is the 2022 version of the Build Back Better Act will look dramatically different. It will not have a lot of the provisions from 2021. Which are the ones that I think will absolutely go away, and which are the ones I simply don't know? Let's go over the three provisions of the three add-ons. This is all brand new. You've never heard this before on this channel. We're going to analyze this team together because if you've been a longtime viewer, you know what things Joe Manchin does not like and will never say yes to, and which ones he's sort of ambivalent to. He doesn't really care one way or the other. Let's go over those add-ons first. $25,000 for the purchase of your first home. I think he likes it. He's never said no against it. I think he would like it. He understands that the housing starts are down 4 consecutive months. Mortgage rates are out of control. I think he would like this across the board. Then $250 billion of free home health care for seniors and people on disabilities. Maybe not. He may not like this one. He does not like spending more money out of Medicare. He thinks that the Medicare system is broken, and he doesn't like spending more money on that. So maybe that would not survive. MSC, that is a provision that would be added in there. It was never in there. $2,000 a month, $1,000 thereafter. I think he has a reason to like it. I don't know the amount at issue. Then let's go over to the other items about Build Back Better. Let's go over the totality, $15,000 to $80,000 of checks. It could be dramatically reduced. Let's go to the first cluster. Which of these would survive? Hazard pay. I think he loves hazard pay. $4,000 of elder care. I don't think it would survive if it stems from Medicare. If it doesn't, it would. $3,600 for the CTC for the young children. I have never heard any reaction negative from him to that. $12,500 for the purchase of a new electric vehicle. He, I think, likes that provision because he has heard about it so many times. He has never said no to it. Nutrition, I think he's in favor of that. And then home repairs. I really don't know about that one. That one is a very mixed react. I really don't know, but it makes me uncertain. Let's go to that second cluster. Paid leave. Absolutely not. I think it's coming out. He absolutely has been very emphatic. He will not do paid leave. And I'm not going to go into the rationale of why he doesn't like it. I think it's just going to not survive. He has said, I do not like paid leave. Remember, the history of paid leave was it was out. Nancy took it out because he said, I'm not doing it. And then she put it back in. So I don't think it's going to survive. Let's go to that third cluster. Free internet for all. Sure, he likes that. Independent contractors, farmers, checks. Sure, yes. Seniors, no. I don't think any of the senior stuff would survive. Dental, vision, hearing, if it stems from Medicaid modifications, no. The Medicaid gap fix, yes, he came up with a Medicaid gap fix with Raphael Warnock that provides a workaround plan to ensure uninsured people in 12 Republican holdout states. That was actually a workaround plan that they did as a team with Joe Manchin. So yes, see how it's sort of complicated? I think you're only going to see the scope of this analysis. What does this feel like? This feels like the combine. This feels like the NFL draft. where I say, will the Jaguars go with him? No, his quarter-mile run is not good enough. I feel like we're going into incredible detail here, but that's what's going on. Bottom line is, it's not going to look like the 2021 Build Back Better Act, in my opinion, but how different it will be, we'll see in a second. That is why, when I say I have $80,000 of forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state for you, you need to get them. You cannot wait. Step one, subscribe to this channel. If you've not already seen in the first 15 minutes why this is the channel unlike any place in the United States, you have already seen it. It's getting better throughout the rest of this recording. Become a member, then get that newsletter Monday through Friday, and then apply for those forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state. How do you do it? Don't worry. It's coming up later in this recording. Let's then turn over to what happened with J-POW. What's going to happen with J-POW this week, what it means for your SS300, and also let's go over the economy today. When we look at the economy, all this is fueling the Build Back Better Act. It's a little bit different. You know what? I'm pausing. It's a little bit different when I say bad economic data helps do Build Back Better Act. We don't have to even make that sentence on a recording anymore because they're doing it. They're doing it. Joe and Chuck are doing Build Back Better Act. But does it change their mindset? No, they're still doing it. They understand the economy's not good. So I don't need to go too much into depth of the situation. It's the rest of the Democratic caucus. What's at issue? Well, the rest of them understand this economy is really doing poorly. How poorly is it doing? Let's go over the situation right now. The gross national product, GDP, is what determines recession or not. It has to be 2 consecutive down quarters of negative GDP growth. And in my opinion, we're already in a negative GDP growth quarter because we were supposed to be 7.1%. We shrunk to 6.9%. I think we shrunk into about 5 or 4% right today. And if we have another negative quarter of GDP growth later this year, the fourth quarter, then 81% of Americans polled will be correct that we're in recession this year, not next year. What's going on is that consumer confidence is down. Housing starts down, auto sales down, and the corporate earnings have now signaled that this is a very confusing environment indeed. It may have started several weeks ago when J-POW said, I'm going to do a half basis point to increase to battle inflation at the May FOMC meeting, and he did. And then after that May FOMC meeting, he had a series of different comments, but it was really what was happening on the corporate side. It was happening on the corporate side, and that corporate side was not so the reaction of J-POW's news, it was the reaction of supply chain. I don't think I've really analyzed this clearly for you until this recording. The reason why Amazon, Walmart, Target, Kohl's were so dramatically down in the last 30 days for corporate earnings, which caused the stock market to crash, was not because of J-POW's news, was not because of the raising of interest rates at J-POW's house. No, it was because of supply chain disruption. And if what we learned last night on Even's LALATE, and will be featured more tonight, is that this supply chain disruption is far more complicated than you and I originally thought. We thought it was you can't get the product to the store. We thought that's the supply chain disruption. No, it's a little bit more complicated now. Some cases, it is the product does get to the store, it comes too late. And then you have the merchandise sitting on the shelf that no one wants because now it's out of season or now it's out of style. And then suddenly you're losing your shirt because you have unsold merchandise. Ouch. And then you have employees walking the floor, too many of them, looking at the unsold merchandise. Ouch, ouch. And then suddenly you have a big corporate hit. Guess what? That's what happened this last week with Target and Walmart. But now we have new indication about a bigger worry. Worry? Bigger than that? Yes. What those big box retailers seem to suggest, according to a series of analysts, is that they cannot, the Build Back retailers, absorb the higher costs of supply chain disruption anymore. So get ready, drum roll, for this shocker of a news, that the supply chain disruption is so severe that these big box retailers are reportedly not going to absorb it anymore, and they're going to start increasing your products even more in the stores. Yes, even more. The reason why products did not sell in the stores when they came timely and when they came in season is because of inflationary pressures. The prices were too high. But now, a series of new reports say that if you think we have 8% inflation right today, we may have even higher inflation in just 60 days from now for consumer products, for food and other items. Why? Because the big box retailers and some of the major retailers can no longer afford to absorb the costs of supply chain disruption. So let's say they were already charging you $5 for a product that was really $3, and you said, "No, I'm not going to pay $5 for that product that used to be $3." Now they may have to push the product up to $6.50 because they cannot hold and absorb the costs of the supply chain disruption anymore. Yes, could we potentially have consumer CPI and PPI numbers going even higher? Could we have inflationary pressures go even higher, from 8%, even higher than that? That is what some analysts are looking at. Imagine inflation not 8%, but 10 or 12%. When J Powell thinks he's getting down to 2% later this year, there's something wrong here. And this is the wrong that millions of Americans now understand there's something going on. When they hear J Powell saying, "I'm getting inflation down to 2% later this year," they all understand that is just not a believable story, number one. Number two, when they see that Bank of England says there will be 10% inflation in England by December, they say, "Wait a second, 10% in England and J Powell's getting to 2%? Something's wrong here." Then when they hear that the big box retailers say, "We're going to increase our products even higher because we cannot absorb these prices of goods, and we're going to start laying off some of our workers. We have too many workers on the floor, and we're not selling the products." And when we talk about Ross for less is going to be Ross for much less because they have too many products on their shelves that came too out of season, too out of fashion, and now, or too late to delivery to the store, I should say. And now what are they doing? They are having to discount those products even more. The takeaway is that corporate earnings down, negative GDP growth. Here we go. Recession. The takeaway on this is a massive double prong. One, it helps the Build Back Better Act because you need stimulus. Number two, Joe Biden needs us to make that swap from COLA to inflation across the board. Joe Biden, when running for president of the United States and then in his presidential platform at joebiden.com, has said that he would swap COLA for inflation. Why is this so important? It would give the most needy of Americans $200 more per month right now, not 6 months from now, not 5 months from now, right now. And not just this month, a lifetime. Why? COLA is your current benchmark. It's a benchmark that doesn't work. Inflation is the proposed benchmark. It should be swapped out now, when inflation is at its highest price point of a generation. At a price point of 8% inflation, what does that mean for you? It means that you would get $200 more per month. And then, if inflation comes in at 4% later this year, another $100 on top of that. What if inflation stays at 8% later this year? Well, that would mean SS 400, because that would mean another $200 later this year. That's how this works. And what the Federal Reserve, what economists, what Joe Biden, what Jeff Bezos, what myself have all collectively said is that the individual hurting the most in this economy are low-income individuals and people on benefits. Because if the price of goods go up, you do not have the ability to afford those products. Do you have the ability to afford a $6 gallon of gas at the pump? No. What am I saying? $6. It's $6.43 today here in Los Angeles, average, unleaded. Do you have the money to afford a $5.50 gallon of milk at the grocery store? No, you don't have the ability to afford that. Do you have the ability to afford a $6 loaf of bread? Of course not. Now, you may have the ability to afford it one time or two times, but not week after week. And this is where this channel has evolved. I told you back in March when Putin invaded Ukraine, you can sustain this maybe for a few days, but not until the month of May. If we have these levels of gasoline or wheat or corn or any of these items into the month of May, we're going to recession. Well, here we are. We're in May, and now 81% of Americans believe that we're going to recession. That is why Americans understood they cannot sustain these levels, and they will not pay for these items. And they cannot pay for these items. Where does the money come from? Well, that's why that new report today is so important. With 15% of your consumer savings depleted in less than 12 months. And that's not because there is no third stimulus like it was last year right now. That's because you have to spend more money for goods, and that your income, if you're employed, has less than 2% gone up. If you're on benefits, you don't have an income. This is why Joe Biden needs to make that swap from cola to inflation. Yeah, people always say, LA, you should be president. Well, if I was president, I would understand the people in need to be helped right away. And they are the people on benefits, and they are the low-income individuals, and they need that help right away. That is my dedication on this channel because I'm not president. I'm just a person in front of a camera. And my job since day one of this channel is finding you money. Lots of money. Telling you where this economy is, telling you where it's going, telling you why you need to get the money, and then showing you how to get the money that day. And that's what's coming up after the commercial break. Here's a preview of what's in store. The President of the United States back in the month of March understood that the Build Back Better Act was not getting done, so he did a series of executive orders. Covered on broadcast media? No. Covered in print media? No. Covered on other channels of YouTube? No. Covered here? Yes. My job is to find you stimulus checks. It's an art form, and I'm the Picasso of this art form. I have had the incredible ability to find people checks since day one of this channel in April 2020. Checks that are nowhere else recorded, nowhere else reported, and I find them and then I deliver that news to you. How do I deliver the news to you? Twofold. One on camera, and then for the specifics like how to apply, the applications, what the eligibility, and the details in the membership newsletter. Step one, you want to subscribe to this channel. It's the biggest and the only in the United States, and it's going to get bigger because more Americans will be looking for checks as they feel the pressures of this recession coming on. But for you, you're ahead of the game. You are watching now on May 21st, 2022. You're ahead of that stimulus stampede coming on the horizon in 30 days or 60 days from now when people say, I need checks right away. This economy is really hurting me. So step one for you right now, subscribe. Step two, become a member. Join the channel. The link is at the top of the chat, the pinned comment. Get that newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alert system. And in the second half of this video, we'll go over those incredible checks one at a time and how you get those huge checks. Let's go over to student loan debt forgiveness. This is one of those items, again, that mirrors my reaction to the SS300. What is Joe Biden doing here? It doesn't make sense. I think he's holding it for the midterm elections. $10,000 of student loan debt forgiveness is likely going to be what he's going to default to. Good. Now, you are not paying the student loan debt right now because of a moratorium, but it will not be on moratorium by September. And will he wait to September? I hope not. He has forgiven student loan debts for individuals who became disabled after graduation, people who went to work in the nonprofit or public sector, then individuals whose debts were procured by fraud by the university against them. Their debts have now been forgiven. If your debts were in default, they've been put back into good standing. Meantime, the president says no to $50,000 of student loan debt. He's likely to do $10,000, and that would be a big wipe away from millions of Americans and their incredible debts. That would be $200, $300, $400 more per month wiped away in expenses for you. You need that. And those student loan debts would be far worse with these raising interest rates from Jay Powell. That is why we're staying on point for this. How do you learn more about this? First, I need you to write down the following words. IDR credit, public service loan forgiveness, and income-based credit. Next, I want you to go to the Department of Education. Go to their website. Go under press releases. Read every press release for the last 3 months. Then stay on there daily and make sure you see anything that Miguel Cardona announces. Finally, if you believe you're the victim of fraud by your university against you, get those applications in. It's all the Department of Education. I don't cover it really in this channel. But congratulations to the viewers who have gotten the guidance on where to look from me, from the videos, and they include Chef John Meyer. Viewers are getting about $6,000 to $7,000 of student loan debt forgiveness, huge across the board. Build Back Better Act, $15,000 to $80,000 of checks. SS300, an additional $200 more per month. Student loan debt forgiveness, if you qualify for it right now, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000. That is there. But what's right in front of us on the table is this: wads of cash, massive wads of cash, huge sums of cash, upwards of $80,000 of stimulus checks, more than the average amount of money in consumers' bank accounts today, based upon a new report being detailed more in the second half. How do you get these huge checks? Get ready. They're coming up in just 60 seconds. Step 1, subscribe to this channel. Step 2, become a member. Step 3, go right into that membership newsletter and get those checks. A 4 stimulus check is in every U.S. state, and how do you get them? They're coming up after the commercial break. I'll be back with you in 60 seconds, plus I'll have a preview of tonight's Evenings LALATE in prime time. It's a big show at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, we are just getting started. Those checks coming up after the commercial break. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now from May 21st, 2022 from the shores of Santa Monica, California. Good afternoon. It is Afternoons LALATE. And in the second half of this recording, we are going over those 4 stimulus checks that are in every U.S. state. Huge checks. And I'm going to show you how to get them today. The first step, subscribe. Second step, become a member. And then stay at the very end of this video. We got big surprises coming up later and a preview of tonight's Evenings LALATE. Let's go over those 4 stimulus checks in every U.S. state starting right now. The first thing to understand is where these checks became discovered. In March of this year, millions of Americans were waiting for Build Back Better Act to get passed, and including those were me. I was watching, and it wasn't getting done. So immediately I said, I got to get my viewers checks. So what did I do? I looked high and low, needle in a haystack, and I found checks announced by Joe Biden by executive action, not in print media, not in broadcast media. No one covered it except LALATE News. And this is why this company has been in business for decades at issue. We're very good at finding things and putting it to the forefront for the membership of this viewers and the viewership of this channel. These 4 stimulus checks announced by Joe Biden are huge. Let's go over who qualifies for them. You do. They're in every U.S. state. Single, married, with children, without children, renter, homeowner, young, old, 75,000 less, a single individual, married couple, 150,000 less, on benefits, SSI, SSDI veterans. These are great. These are absolutely wonderful. Is there one check? No, there's not. There's A, B, C, of which there's lots of C checks. And in some states, there's also a D check. Let's go over all this incredible news. But first, let's understand how we got here. In April of 2020, when the pandemic hit like a tsunami, millions of Americans went on lockdown. Your business was shut down. You were about to lose your business. You were laid off. You were about to lose your home. You needed money. And so what I did was I pressed record on the very first day of this channel, in April, first video of this channel, April 25th, 2020. And what I did, I recorded how to get an EIDL grant, PUA, PPP, LWA thereafter, showing people how to get massive sums of money as quickly as possible. Viewers took notes, listened, and applied and got those monstrous sums of money at the time. When third stimulus came around, other people got used to the idea of just a $600, $300, $400 measly little check landing in a mailbox. That was never this channel. When third stimulus hit this channel, I immediately showed viewers how to get 15,000. They got on average 45,000, which brings us to where we are today. It mirrors December 20. And December 20 millions of Americans needed money, and I found it for them in that big untapped money from first stimulus. And with that, let's start with the 4 stimulus checks that are in every U.S. state starting right now. The first check that is in every U.S. state of 4 stimulus, I call Check A. It is a $6,500 to $12,000 check. It is for single individuals, $75,000 or less, married couple, $150,000 or less, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, rural benefits, and veterans benefits. It is huge. Yes, you're hearing me right. $6,500 to $12,000. This is unlike any stimulus check you may have ever seen. It is the quantity and quality of a check we covered back in the very first days of the pandemic on this channel, monster checks. And how do you get this $6,500 to $12,000 first stimulus check, Check A? Let's go over the details of it right now. That Check A is called the Homeowners Weatherizing Grant Check, and you go right into the membership newsletter. Well, first thing you have to do is subscribe. Then you want to hit the membership link, which is called Join under the video. Join and become a member. Then choose Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calsuno VIP, and then get that newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You go right down in the newsletter in which I describe more about Check A and what it pays for. Great stuff. And then I have the link to go right in and apply. Yes, I send it to you directly in the newsletter. You go right in. It's a website, and you go in and apply on that website from the newsletter and get that incredible check. How easy is that? I do all the work for you. All you have to do is just apply. Then we're not done there yet, because you're also going to apply for Check B. Check B is a $15,000 to $80,000 forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. Whoa. The average view of this channel has gotten $66,000 to $80,000. One view in the last 24 hours has gotten $25,000 from this. This is a forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. It is called the Homeowners Grant Check. And this is astronomical. Let's look at that number, 80,000. The new report released today says that consumer savings in the United States had an average of 77,000 last year. It is down into the 60,000 this year. It is down 15%. So look at this Check B. I am getting you with Check B more than the average savings of U.S. Americans to date in the United States. Average Americans do not even have $80,000 in the bank account. And that's what I'm getting you with Check B. So how do you get Check B? Much similar to Check A. First, subscribe. Second, become a member. Third, go into the membership newsletter. Down to Check B. It's right after Check A in the newsletter. And you have another website to click and apply to. Put your name and address and information in, and you apply, and the you go. Congratulations to the viewers who have gotten this incredible Check B. Let's go to the next checks. They're a group of checks, and they are in the umbrella of what I call Check C. They are for renters and also homeowners. Rent, utilities, mortgages, and more. It is averaging about $2,000 direct deposited MSC check over 12 months. And how do you get these incredible checks? Again, you subscribe, then become a member, go into the membership newsletter, and go right down to Check C. Here at Check C, it's not a website, it's phone calls. So I'm telling you in the membership newsletter at Check C who to call, what to say, when to say it, and how to say it. Those incredible checks from Check C are the residue of third stimulus money. No one knows better how to get this third stimulus Check C money than you on this channel. We've been doing this since the late days of 2020. It was initially called on this channel Purple Money. Then we called it Third Stimulus when it became Third Stimulus. Now it is Check C. And viewers of this channel have gotten astronomical sums of money. Let's go over some of their successes and how you can be the same. $20,000 all the way up to $27,000 for rent. Here is Utilities, and we have had higher numbers since then, 15,000, like Mark's brother-in-law. Here's some Snap, here's some combos. There's Nisi. She was at 23,000 when this graphic was made in November of last year. She is over 30,000 right now. She's getting $8,000 every 3 weeks. That is the true effort of a purple hawk. She goes back and pounces for additional checks every few weeks. Here's Mark. He was at 30,000, like in that prior graphic. Then he went to 100,000. Then he went to 50,000. Then he went to 100,000. Then he got check B. He's at 166. Here's Lorraine. She was at 105. Now she's at 120. Their inspirational stories should inspire you as well. Let's bring it back and understand how you do this. Step one, you want to go to the top of this channel and hit that subscribe button. You ain't going to find any place like this in the American landscape, anywhere. Print media, cable news, anywhere. This is why this channel is #1 in prime time for financial news. This is why hundreds of people join daily as members of this channel. This is why people are coming here. And this is why Stimulus Stampede will be hitting this channel in 30 days out. Why? Because Americans are going to start to feel the hurt, the bad hurt, the financial hurt of this economy in 30 to 60 days out. As we get later into the year, the pressure, the financial pressure is going to come in, and they're going to say, do you got a check for me? And I'll say, yeah, I just don't know if the funds have run out yet. But welcome to this channel. The difference with you is that this is May. The funds are there. Go get them. And what I want you to do is go get them and keep on getting them. Don't stop across the board. If you have success stories in the last few days or last few months, post them in the live chat right now. Also send them to me in private message on Facebook or private messaging. Step 1, subscribe. Step 2, join at the top of the chat. And step 3, get that membership newsletter. Go right in and get that membership newsletter. If you have problems getting the membership newsletter, send me a private message on Facebook and I will answer it for you. That's the spirit of this channel. Now, when you look at the economic environment at issue that is changing very dramatically, what's happening is that the movement, the pace, the speed at which the downturn of the economy is hitting has really amped up since February. Back in February, when I said a recession is coming, a lot of people were not feeling the hurt of the economy. Then, when Jay Powell said, I'm doing a half basis point increase in the month of May, and he made that announcement in April, people were still not feeling the hurt. When he made the announcement at the FOMC meeting in May, about 2 weeks ago, that he's raising that interest rates a half basis point, you may not have felt the hurt yet, but you started to question what was going on. The week before that, Amazon, a stock that has always done really well, dramatically fell, plummeted the week before he made the announcement, Jay Powell. Then, after he made the announcement, stock market down 1,000 points, day after day, week after week, until it continued this week. 8th consecutive week of the stock market now down, the worst performance since the 1920. Wake-up call. Oh boy, is it a wake-up call. Everyone knows it's happening. Whether they own a stock or they don't own a stock. Their son or daughter owns a stock, they hear the news. They say, there's something going on that's wrong. Then you may work at a big box retailer, and the employer may be saying to the store manager, we don't need you for 40 hours next week. We'll give you 20 hours. What happened? We're not selling the merchandise. Merchandise is not moving. We don't need you on the floor that often. That is the start of the tsunami being spotted out to sea, which I've been telling you since February. It's there. You may not see it close to land yet, but you certainly see the wind picking up for the storm of a recession. I was really shocked when that report that came out on Friday said that 81% of Americans now believe they will go into recession later this year. Now, let's make this very clear. The poll, the report, was the result of asking people who watch a financial news channel. So they are viewers who are not watching, a basic local news station. They are sophisticated viewers to start. These are financial viewers to start. They watch financial issues to start. So they had a feeling about this issue more so than someone that is not watching the issues. But people who do not watch financial news, people who do not watch LALATE, they're going to feel the hurt, or they're going to feel the wind picking up by the summer. And when they do, they're going to be looking for checks. The stimulus stampede is going to be here, and you're going to see people saying, where's the check, where's the check, where's the check? Let me go over an example of something that is brand new. It happened just a few minutes ago. Before I went on air, I got a private message from someone on Facebook and said, I need help getting some money. What do I qualify for? Now, let's make this very clear. At that point, the viewer should already have the answer because the videos are very self-explanatory. The viewer should already have the answer. It's either A, B, or C, and then maybe D. You already should have the answer, and you should already be applying for it. You shouldn't be waiting for my answer. But let's go on with what the person said. The viewer described their situation. I said A, B, or C. The viewer lives with his mom, and his mom owns the home. And I said A, B, or C. Obviously, go get some, mortgage assistance or go get some utilities. Everyone has utility bills. Go get some utilities. Guess what the response back from that viewer on Facebook was? Oh, I was just looking for checks for myself. I don't rent. I don't own. Oh, is there a check for someone who doesn't rent or doesn't own and just doesn't have much of bills at all? Not really. But here's where you have to think out of the box. The person is part of the household that lives with the mom, and she has lots of utilities, obviously. You all have water, gas, electric, and telephone. You all have utilities. That viewer should be getting those checks for the mother. Should be getting those checks for the mother right away. 5 checks. 5 checks on check C. Shouldn't wait a second. That's thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Even if she has no mortgage on the home, maybe she does, maybe she doesn't. Let's assume she doesn't. Just go get those utility checks. And the utility checks, as one volunteer, I think it was Dragon, said the other day, the utility checks pay out really quickly. I mean, you get that relief sometimes within 7 days. Get those checks right away. That's how you have to sort of think around the situation. Don't create a check for you that doesn't exist. That's basically what I'm getting at. Don't create a check for you that doesn't exist. Don't say, when is the check arriving for people who are hazard pay individuals? Don't create a check for your environment. Figure out which check you qualify, A, B, or C, and go get it. Don't make the check about you. Make yourself about the check. Do you qualify for A, B, or C? Go get it. When is a check landing for SSI and SSDI? Oh, Lord. The most annoying comment I can ever see, because that person is thinking the check has written specifically for them. No, you get yourself into the application for the checks. You get yourself to qualify into those checks. There's checks out there, $80,000 of them. I don't want that check. I want the check that has my name on it, written a specific way for me. No. That is not happening. That is not happening. You got to figure out which pigeonhole you fit into and go get it. If you're renting, you get check C. If you're a homeowner, you get A, B, and C. If you are all the above, you get a lot of checks. There's a forced stimulus check in every U.S. state, and those forced stimulus checks are for you. Single, married, children, not children. Go get those huge checks across the board. There's also a check D in 24 plus U.S. states as well. That check D is also featured in the membership newsletter. It averages sometimes upwards of $2,000, and it is huge. Which states are doing it? How are those states doing it? Well, it's all in the membership newsletter. Go down to check D in the newsletter, and it details the results for your respective state as well. Told you I had an extra check later in this video. What's coming up this week, and what is my projections for this coming week? My projections are we're going to see more corporate earnings. We're going to see those unemployment numbers on Thursday. Boy, I really want to see them. Those unemployment numbers on Thursday. I think we're going to start to see numbers for unemployment heading to 220,000 new unemployment claims. We went to 200,000 2 weeks ago. That was not a good number. Then I want to see the pedantics of those Fed governors. They're going to keep on coming out saying we're getting inflation down to 2%. And I want to start to see the analysts saying, stop with that nonsense. You're not getting inflation down to 2%. I want to start to sense the pushback against Jay Powell. Jay Powell and the Fed governors, once perceived as brilliant economists, now being seen as sort of buffoonery, really bad buffoonery, when they got it very wrong last year, and a kid with a purple shirt and purple orchids getting it very right last year. When I said 8% inflation in December and not temporary, Jay Powell saying 2% and transitory and completely wrong. Wrong. And continued saying that inflation was not going to be sustained at 8% through January, February, all the way up to May. High 8% inflation. We are still 8% inflation right now in May. And now Jay Powell saying 2% inflation later this year. more buffoonery. So where are we going to find the normality of the situation? We're going to find the normality here, because you're going to have a lot more financial analysts who simply get it wrong. A lot of the companies that want you to buy the stocks are going to continue to tell you it's a great market to buy the stocks. No, it's not. Do not be buying anything. Saving your cash right now is what you should be doing. Number two, you're going to have a lot of banks not want to say the word recession. They have a reason not to say it. It's a financial issue. Why they don't want to say recession. Maybe recession, possible economic strength. They're all wrong. They know we're going to recession. Number three, we're going to see more housing data, and then we're going to see the impact of all this together as one. Takeaway, there's a storm out to sea. There's a storm out to sea. And that storm out to sea, 81% of Americans now understand, at least in that new poll, that it's called recession. They believe it's coming on shore in later this year. I believe it's coming on shore next year. And that recessionary worries will cause a lot of changes in consumer benefits, consumers' behavior. People will start spending less. Businesses will start making less money. Employees will start getting laid off. Businesses will see negative growth. Negative growth will mean business will contract. Stocks will remain down and get worse across the board. Bonds will continue to surge. Unemployment concerns will grow. Housing starts will continue to slump. And unemployment claims will grow. This is what happens with all of this across the board. And what's at issue is that you need to grab these incredible checks. Step one, subscribe to this channel. Step two, become a member. Step three, get that newsletter Monday through Friday. And step four, join me on Evenings LA tonight at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, we got a lot of news coming up tonight. It's at 5 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Don't miss that major show, and don't miss the shows throughout the day. There's a lot of programming throughout the day, and you can't miss it. What's important to know is that there's so much breaking news, I don't have the ability to repeat it in every recording. So do not miss the shows throughout the day. We have a brand new afternoons LA every day at 3 o'clock. Also in afternoons at 1. We have evenings LA at 5, countdown at 6, stream symbols to 7, 8 o'clock is extra, 9 o'clock is sunset. We have our overnight show. We have our live show that starts at approximately 6 o'clock every night. And then we have early mornings LA at 4, countdown at 7, and mornings LA at 9, followed by noontime at 11 a.m. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, God bless. Get those big checks. I'll see you next on Evenings LA today. As the money is landed, just go get it. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LA for more.